You know, you just got to learn how to manage it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Here
Yeah.
we go. And go on, say it. Go on.
I ain't saying anything. I'm waiting for you.
All right. What it is, Steve, I'll tell you what, I'm glad you were going like this all the time, right? I was speaking to one of my people today, and they said to me, Steve, I like the end of it. What? Dun, 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 dun. And I was thinking, what? What you on about, So then I'm going to get somebody to make me another one, I think. I don't think it's very good, that.
It's not. It's fine. In fact, it's not. This is not meant to be a negative thing, but it does remind me of something. When I was a child, there's a thing called Crossroads. You won't know it. Anybody who's watching this who's maybe over 40 or 50 will remember Crossroads. So it's a bit like your EastEnders type of thing that was on. So is that? But the music is reminding me of that. So
I know Crossroads the program.
yeah, it was a
Benny and all that, lot, and
that's the one. Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
I was around then. I'm 51 on Sunday.
Oh, well, there you go. There's a compliment in there already. I didn't even know you're that age.
Yes, 51 on Sunday. Yes, yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about tonight. We are doing a great big event on tomorrow. It starts for 2 days. It's for mental health. It's for mind. We got a lot of ETAs like Elvis ETAs, tribute artists, and everything, raising money for mind. And I want to talk about men's mental health. I'm not trying to be discriminate against women. I know women can have mental health too, but for men, I think sometimes for us, it's much harder because number one, we got to kind of like, we got to go to the doctor and say, look, have we got a problem, haven't we?
We have a problem. What you mean, physically or mentally?
Mentally.
Okay.
That we got a mental problem. Do you reckon so?
What, you have to go to the doctors?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you talk about it's harder than women, the criteria is how we approach mental health, because we have men have an attitude towards mental health where it has a stigma, where it's less likely where it's for women, because mental health has always been, hello Jacqueline.
Yeah, Jacqueline.
But mental health has always been a challenge, but women deal with that better. They've got a track record of doing it because they are better at talking to one another and being more open, where men are catching up very slowly. Equality is not just there for women, it's there for men as well, who are now learning, if you like, from women. So yes, we have more of a challenge in some ways, but they've always had the same challenge. It's just they don't deal with it the same way we do. We're just making hard work of it.
Right. Because I was talking to somebody today, and I kind of like, when I was having mental health, when I had a mental health breakdown, I was sectioned on the section 21 of the Mental Health Act.
Okay.
And I was taken into, I was taken into a psychiatric unit. And it was an acute unit, not the people, really, really bad. It was people for depression and suicide. And when I was in there, there was a lot of people around, and I felt that there was no help there. There was no help there at all. We were left for our own devices, say.
Right.
Right?
Right.
No, you probably say in a minute, yeah. But Steve, it's probably because they want us to think about what we've done, or because when I tried to commit suicide off a bridge,
Okay.
okay, and
Yeah.
I had thoughts about jumping off a bridge. Now, to me, at that particular time, it wasn't kind of like that I was just kind of like for attention. It was I wanted to jump off that bridge.
Okay.
All right.
Hmm.
And when I went into that psychiatric unit, and but after 6 weeks, I think it was about 3 weeks actually. Sorry, I came out and I was stigmatized because I went into a psychiatric unit.
Yeah, which is going to be a common thing because people, when they hear about psychiatric units, is like, well, what's wrong? This is where we talk about the stigma.
Yeah.
I mean, there are different levels of mental health, but everyone has to understand, and a lot of us do now. But we have to understand we all have mental health.
Mm,
It's how we maintain it and look after our mental health. So, in your experiences, you're more experienced than I am because you've actually been through that. So, you've actually felt through the anxiety that's caused a disorder that you may have had at that time as well. But in answer to your question, being in a psychiatrist hospital, I'm not qualified or experienced in a hospital to tell you what they should and shouldn't do. However, I will say this: the whole point I would thought is that you were able to have professional help because at this point you are looking for professional help, and that help has to come with guiding you as well as showing you the direction of where you need to go. Um, what I think we have learned, or what we should learn, is that advice is okay, but it's a short term. We need to be
mm,
learning for ourselves. So yes, you need
mm,
to be learning for yourselves, but you need to have someone there to hold your hand and guide you until you can actually find your own way. And it's finding your own questions and own answers to that. Why did you what made you get to that bridge? And then find the
mm,
reasons behind that. And when they come out, it's not so dark. It's when we
mm.
don't talk about it, it's darker.
That's
And
it. Yeah.
I'll give you an example and a personal example. I recently have experienced anxiety first time in my life, and I'm very shocked by it. Very shocked at how it crept up on me, and without going through to all those details, but at night when I go to bed is the worst time. That's when it happens. When I go to bed. Now, the way I deal with it is actually to speak out loud to it. And I use a term that I just say to it, "Oh, there you are. Hello, welcome back. Don't need you. Thanks very much. You can, go
Mm,
and do one." Um, that way, I'm making it real. I'm making it live. It's not in my head only. I'm taking it out of me, and I'm making
mm,
it better for myself. But that's not a medical term or anything to answer to that for what you have been challenged with. And I'm sure you'll have some great sort of not advice, but some great experiences that you can share with others about that.
mm. I have. I think I think when you're kind of like you certainly kind of think when you're in the hospital. You certainly think there's a lot of time where you're on your own. Then you get a psychiatrist come and see you for like around about half an hour or so, and that's it basically. You get put on tablets to get me out. Obviously, I wasn't going down this road, Steve, but sorry about this. But um, I think the trouble is though, to for me to go outside too, because I was felt like locked in all the time. My everything was taken away from me, and I mean everything. And I was only allowed out a few times. To get me out more, I took up smoking, Steve.
Okay.
Right. So what it was is like it was a queue by the door. It was funny. It could be it's a comedy. You couldn't write it. It was like a queue. So what you do is you line up and then go, right, if you want a cigarette, you can have a cigarette. We'll get your cigarettes for you. And I had to get somebody to buy me cigarettes.
Right.
So for me, so I had one. I'd go back to the end and join the
Mm.
queue and keep doing it because I needed air, I needed space. I was
Okay.
just, So what I'm trying to say is like, when we're in a situation where we want to kind of like sometimes when we got suffering from mental illness, sometimes I believe sometimes men, they are scared to come out and say, yes, I've got a problem, because we want to be macho, more macho.
Right. Yeah. Let me go back to the time that you were smoking, and let me ask you a question. When you look back at that and you smoke, did did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the smoke?
No,
Oh, you didn't. You didn't enjoy it. You just did
no,
it for the air,
to get out.
right? To get out. So your
Yeah,
incentive was to get out and have it. That was your incentive. So you had a
yeah,
motivation,
yeah,
and that motivation got you outside. Now
yeah,
you can see what people are looking is finding an energy and a motivation and use that energy to get what they want. You got what you want. You found what you want, to get outside, get some air. Okay, it was a cigarette to do that, but you were able to think your way around what to do. And now, when we talk about mental health, mental illness, a very different thing. Okay, so just so the audience understand that, when we talk about mental illness, is where you haven't maintained your mental health, where you've gone too far in your experience, where you've got to that bridge, that has gone too far. You have not maintained it. You have not been able to find the right path, and you've gone off the wrong path. So yes, the stigma for mental health is there. Let For mental illness is definitely a stigma, of course, because mental illness means that you, in a person's mind, that they have failed, and that is what the stigma is all about. That they have failed in society, and that's why they don't like using mental health, because the masculinity for a man in that respect is, that's not what men do. Men are strong, and the dynamics in a couple, it's the man who will be stronger. Generally, we're talking here. So
mm,
generally, we need to start looking at our dynamics. Now, when I see, for me, I coach couples when we talk about fertility, and one of the things that I look at is the dynamics of the relationship. And I'll give you an example here. If the couple are struggling to have to conceive, what happens is that maybe both couples will get tested. Now, if the man is fine, it says, yeah, okay, you're clear, and the woman is okay, clear, but they will look at the woman as being the person, because her body is a beautiful, complex, be it is such an amazing system that they have. So it is more challenging to get around. However, it isn't in respects to when we talk about the mental health. And so when it comes to that, the woman becomes the part who she's now, her energy is looking for always options to make sure that she is finding better ways to be able to resolve the issue. The man, again, I'm talking in general, will be the supporting role in that. He will be the man who go, the strong pillar for her when she gets upset or when she needs something. And that's where the dynamics still is the same, and the dynamics has to change, because the man needs to be on the same empathy together with a woman in respects to how they both feel, and stop
mm,
putting emphasis on the woman, because in fact she is also having the strain as well as the man is. So
mm,
not going off the road, I'm just giving an example in that, going back to the stigma part, it's only there because of the dynamics of the way man and woman are together.
mm. But what can we do? How can we stop the stigma with mental health?
I think the stigma, in simplistic ways, we talk about it more like we are today. We do. I mean, I'm creating men groups. In fact, in a couple of weeks, I'm creating men's groups where we just chat about the challenges. I mean, connecting masculinity. What is masculinity?
Mm,
Masculinity. Identifying it, because we have a different thoughts and process of what masculinity is. We're isolated as men. We isolate ourselves, so we disconnect from the world because we're isolated. It might not be seen in the forefront, but if you look at socially, who is more sociable, women or men?
women.
And that's why they are leaders in what they do and why they manage their mental health, and why we disconnect, especially when we
Mm,
have this lockdown.
mm,
So you may hear women more speaking about it, and some will use the derogatory terms of moaning about it, but they're actually telling how they feel. They are managing their mental health. Where the man, and I am guilty as anyone else, won't be that case at all. Will be the supporting person, and be quite quick and be happy to support the person, maybe a friend, whoever, who's having challenges, and maybe be slightly open, but not as open as she is. Again, in general, I'm speaking here.
mm,
So the way to help reduce stigma is for more men to lead and see others, and that's happening now. That is happening. You are seeing this,
mm.
lots of celebrities speaking about it, and we need our leading roles. You need role models to do that.
Yeah, but it's tough. It can be tough, though, can it? Kind of like getting out there and saying, right, okay, I've got this, got that, and I've got a certain problem because getting back to I'm strong, I'm going to be all right. But really, inside, deep inside, you're not. Because I sometimes I go through like certain times where about depression, something just click. And my wife she's very good at noticing things. If I got a problem, she would just say, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Because she knows me. So it's just kind of like, and I'm thinking, I haven't got a problem because I don't want to tell her. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel a burden to her. Do you get me? And she
Mhm.
says, "Oh, you don't speak." And then we get into like a bit of an argument, and she turns around and say, "Oh, you never tell me anything. You never share anything with me." And I'm thinking to myself, well, should I? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I do know what you mean. Unfortunately, I can empathise with you on that. And I think probably a lot of your listeners will as well. However, I think when you look at managing it, also look at. I missed who that was. It said hello. So whoever
Sorry,
that was,
sorry.
hello, Catherine. Hello, Catherine. Okay,
Hello.
I'm being very posh here, Catherine Murray. Um, well, yeah. So, yeah, we need to be living with a purpose. We need a purpose. Okay, we all have different, you know, um, targets and different goals, and if you don't, get one. And I'm not talking materialistic, talking about a purpose for your life purpose.
Well, I've got
Um,
I've got a life purpose now, and that's
okay,
my faith. That's my faith. So
right,
so I really believe in God, and this is why I did this for. It's to help me, but also to help other people.
okay,
And why I called it crossroads is because in our life sometimes we always come to a crossroads in our life, and we don't know where to turn.
right,
And that's why I felt that I needed to do this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Then
You know?
it's good, and your purpose now is that you're also helping others.
Yeah, yeah,
And hopefully, whatever are listening to, if it's just one person, that's one person. That one person who could have been you on the bridge.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you have to keep that in mind. I mean, you know, your your emotions are something that you would have learned to control. But in fact, when we talk about controlling emotions, this also leads to hey, whatever, I'm posh too. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about emotions in respects to controlling, but they're actually quite a negative approach. What we want to do is look at embracing our emotions. When you embrace your emotions and you're not uncomfortable, have a discomfort with that, then you are getting somewhere. Yeah. And so these are simple things that are from, where you could be watching something on TV, and it could be something it's not too emotional, but you find yourself like, oh gosh, this has really got me. I don't want to show that I got emotional with this, and others won't even care. They'll just laugh. Oh no, I'm off again. And that's the best way. You go, like, I've started again, because there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we've seen it as a masculine, that type of masculinity thing that we have, without mentioning cry. It's still there, unfortunately, and it's there. The older you are, it's going to be more set in through that subconscious thinking that we have. But the younger generation, definitely improving and definitely getting better. Their much more approach is more positive to it. But unfortunately, there's still people that are leading that life because their parents have lived that life as well.
Yeah. See, the trouble is, I also kind of I used to be, so you won't believe it, but I used to be afraid to kind of do any lives, go on Facebook, do any lives or anything else like that, which I do now. And I'll tell you why I do it is because, one, is because, I don't, inside really, I don't like myself.
Okay.
Okay. I don't,
Okay.
I'm being open to you. I don't
Yeah.
like myself. And there's probably people out there who probably feel the same. And that's because of my weight or some other problems too. But but since I've started doing this, okay, I kind of I came out of myself, and I kind of I love every minute of it, because I feel that I don't care. This is my attitude. I don't care as long as I help people, right? Which we have helped people. I've got a team. I've got a really good team behind me. And what they do is, it's unbelievable. People don't realize what happens behind the scenes. We get people contacting us and saying, "Oh, thank you for your message. Thank you for this. Where do you want to go?" And what we do, we point people off to different directions.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We try to help people. And if we know anybody who, we got a doctor on board, we got other people on board, so we just kind of this is how we work. We just want to help. And if I help one person, right, to stay away from a bridge, or stay away from cutting themselves, or drugs, or whatever, right, then I feel good about it, because I did my bit. And that's me. This is why I'm doing this.
Okay.
And that's why.
That's good. I mean, but the paying attention to the disliking oneself. You're gonna have to really approach that first to really be able to help others in a best way that you can, because it'll come across to others as well, and that's something you can only deal with because it's only you that is thinking that way.
Yeah.
And the best way to look at this is probably look at things like, you could write down, say for example, right, okay, write 10 things that you've achieved. Okay, 10 things that come to mind that you've achieved. And give you an example. Let's say you're a father. Okay, for example, you say you're a father and you've brought up a child. Okay, it's one thing achieved. Then what I want you to do is then go, right, what were the skills that you used to bring that child up? Okay, and I want you to write a list of all those things, and a maximum of 10 of those. So you write all the skills that you put in there. and you get a list of 10 things, 10 skills that go with those 10 things. And then when you look at those skills, then give it a real look and see what you've done and see what you're able to achieve. And you then can see that you're also an expert in that. I had a case where I used to do workshops over in India for women. It was all about confidence in that, because it's very challenging for women over there, but it's getting slightly better. But one of the things, a question was put to me was, I've only been a mother, and I put that question to same question to her. I said, right, okay, what were the skills that you had a very long time ago? I was very careful about measuring my life now. It's very hard to talk and read at the same time. I like the way it all comes across at big writing. Anyway, I digress. So the question, I'm only a mother, and so she go, well, you're only a mother, okay? Then tell me what you did as a mother. So she told me what she did, and I said, okay, if I asked someone else to come in and take over that child and do the same thing, could they? She said, no way, because they wouldn't know the habits, whatever. So in that case, if that's not possible, then you are the expert in this case. So she is now seen that, hang on, what do you mean I'm an expert? You are an expert. You are an expert how to look after that child. No one else knows. So you're an expert. So this means that you're now realizing that, hang on, my self-worth is a much more than I thought. We see TV and that, and we think self-worth is what we've achieved or how many likes we have, or how much money we earn. It's not. The things that our self-worth is what we've achieved, it's not being shown or anything, because we do it every day, or we've done it without the thinking that, oh, okay, I'm going to get brownie points for this. So try that if you really have a manager, and it's a good way of also giving helping yourself to feel better and positive about yourself.
Likes to me, Steve, it doesn't. I'm not worried about it. Likes, I when I done my radio station, I've got, I can't believe it. I've got loads of it. But the trouble is, that's not the point. I didn't do it for that point. I did it because I wanted to help people. Because I've been there. You could go to a doctor, and the doctor doesn't give you all the advice he can. But until you've been through something yourself, then you know what it's like.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I do. Yeah. Of course I do. I mean, and everyone has their own experiences. I think it was Kate who made, what was that? Can you see Kate's message that was there? I think she said something about. So Kathy was saying, love, faith, and happiness. I try to be positive about it, most things, and that's how you got. You have to find the thing that makes you feel positive.
Yeah.
And careful about measuring my life now, and trying to be careful. Thank you, Kath, again, about measuring your life. Okay, when one measures their life, is what do they measure their life with? Because that is the trouble what we have. If I measure my masculinity because of someone who's bigger than me, then I'm going to always feel the inferior. I'm going to feel that I am not a man. And my definition of a man is being a bigger person, or earning more money, or having the model wife, or whatever it is that someone interprets. It's not that at all. It's your values and what you believe in, and if you have a faith, fantastic. A faith is really important. I'm not saying that you have to have a religion, but have a faith. You got to have faith, because that is something that will keep you strong. But you're the person that has to believe in yourself, because you're the only person that's going to criticize you truly and not everything, because we'll always remember the negative comments, not the positive ones.
Yeah, and I went through that the other day on Facebook, and I know what it's like. Anyway, thank you very much.
Time already?
Yeah, if we go so quick, doesn't it? when we're
It does
talking?
indeed. I've got a couple of videos you can watch on my YouTube channel, which might be useful for positive stuff like that. So
Yes, send them over to me, and but
sure,
stay there because I'll need to chat with you after anyway.
sure. Wait, it's
Okay,
Stephen Paul Brittain. Is you'll find me on YouTube.
okay, brilliant, thank you. Okay, guys, thank you for Steve for joining us tonight. Don't forget tomorrow we got the Mind event. So please donate on there. Every single penny goes towards Mind. We've got Elvis ETAs. We've got different singers. I think we've got a comedian. It's loads going on tomorrow, all day and all
I'm
day
funny.
Sunday. Sorry,
I can be funny.
you can be
Pay me
funny.
up. No,
We don't pay people, mate. This is all going for Mind. This is all
or
and
pay me to go away.
well, actually, you've got a guitar there, haven't you? Who wants to? Who wants to? Hey, Steve, you can sing us a song.
That's how to really lose friends.
All
Honestly,
right. Okay. Okay. I'll let you off. Anyway, guys. So don't forget tomorrow. So please, I'll say to everybody, if you've got 5,000 friends on Facebook, can you imagine it? Donate £1 and £5,000 will go towards Mind. Can you think about that? Wow. But anyway, there you go. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Thank you, Steve, for your help,
you're welcome.
and I'll see you again next week. Bye bye.
Bye.